Hey, this is Joey's Hi-Fi shop. Today we're going to be talking about some records that I recently got. And some are ones that I personally found, and then some are some recommendations from some students. And I just thought it would be kind of fun to go over them. So this first one comes wrapped in this little sleeve here. More, it looks like, I actually have two copies of it. This is what it looks like when you get one. And this is by Mondo. And this Mondo pressing is interesting because it says down here, it says the art of soundtracks. And these are really interesting because they are not like the original. The original album, which I have here, is a lot more plain and what I would call like a straight up pressing. And these are black 180 or 200 gram vinyl, and has a traditional insert in it. And great album. I mean, this is produced by Daft Punk, music by Daft Punk here, and to me it's an amazing album to play on your hi-fi, and I really enjoy it. Now, what makes Mondo pressings really interesting is the fact that these are, like it says, the art of soundtracks. They're based around the art. And so you'll see here, it's got Cora in an arcade console, like kind of looking out through the screen. And if I just push, you'll see that she kind of comes out. And there is a whole illustration here that shows Cora and Sam Flynn and Clue. This is Clue over here. And I don't know if it shows Tron. I don't see Tron there. But it shows the characters. And then you'll see Kevin Flynn on the back, the original character from the first movie, played by Sam Bridges. Not Sam Bridges. Yeah. Anyways, and in the back has this really cool kind of like code text style for the information about the pressing and some liner notes. It also has a traditional insert as well. And if you open this up, you'll see that it has the Daft Punk helmets. And then on top of that, it says on here, these are 180 gram neon pressings. And you've got a blue, and you've also got an orange. Let me show you all the orange. I got to show it to you all. It's too cool not to show you all these pressings. There we go. So I think that's pretty fun there. And what I find really interesting about Mondo pressings is just the fact that they really are the art of soundtracks. If you go to their website and check out their offerings, they just have really, really unique pressings and packaging. And so this one is a good example of a fairly traditional pressing. And the next one I have to show, I have to admit, I didn't. I think it was around $50. Not this one. This one was $35, I believe. But the next one I'm going to show y'all. And I was really surprised because when I got it, I didn't realize it would be such a literal big deal. In the sense of its size, I thought it was just a normal pressing, but it's this. It looks like this, and it's the original Batman '89 pressing, and I didn't pick up on this. It says LP. Well, here, let me zoom in here. It says LP graphic novel set, and so it literally says pressed on 140 gram colored vinyl, and when I open it up, you have the record of the original motion picture Danny Elfman album, and I can pull the album out. It's a splattered, if I remember correctly. Oh yeah, like quasi-splattered, like split looking album. And then it also includes, well here, let me show, actually let me open up the gatefold a little bit here. Show you what that looks like. You know, it has some really nice imagery of the graphic novel, and which I think looks pretty fun. And then it comes with the Sam Hamm, Joe Quiones, and Leonardo Ito, The Dark Knight Returns '89 graphic novel, which I personally did not even know about this novel. I'm going to admit to y'all how lay I am about some of this. When I order things, it's kind of a shot in the dark. I just was so excited to see this pressing, and then when I actually got the pressing in, I was just shocked to see how cool of a graphic novel this is, and they have some cool stuff in the back where they kind of break down the sketches. Here, I'll get up on here for you. And I was just really excited about this. So definitely, you know, check out some Mondo pressings. I've known about them for a while, and I've gotten a couple of other ones. They also do video game soundtracks, which I really enjoy. So these are some student recommended albums. This one's called Hozier Unreal Unearth, and I listened to it this morning, and I have to say, not my cup of tea, but I definitely felt like I was at a coffee shop listening to it. It's kind of what I would say like a indie sounding ambient pop album. It definitely made me feel like I was in a coffee shop. And I mean, it sounds great. There's nothing wrong with it. It just happens to not be something I would probably listen to constantly or have on my playlist. But it's something I recommend. At the very least, go check it out on streaming. And it may be your cup of tea. Like, just because I'm not, you know, finding this album to be what I want to be playing regularly, I can see why people appreciate it, and it's great music. It's just not what I'm into, and I'm honest. You know, I'm not gonna tell y'all everything I get is great. Then we got this Gregory Alan Isakov, and the name of the album is The Empty Northern Hemisphere. Now this album, this was interesting. Again, I felt like I was in a coffee shop listening to it. Evidently it came out in 2009. But wow, this is a really good sounding album. Again, not something I would probably listen to regularly, but I have to say, on the HiFi, it sounded amazing. Very simple arrangements, great voice, just a really, really kind of somber, again, like kind of indie sounding album. I didn't have a problem with it. It was just something that kind of caught me off guard. And then this album, this is Clario Immunity, which is Clario is, I believe, the singer, and then Immunity is the name of the album. This album was pretty interesting. It reminds me kind of more of like a pop, indie pop kind of sounding album. What I've gotten out of these, all three of these records, I'll put this up here. All three of these records were recommended by my graduate students. I also teach, for those that haven't picked up on this, and so it was very telling because I could see how over the past 10 years, coffee shop music has really I don't know if it's feeding the customers or the customers are feeding, like what loop is happening here. But all of this music reminded me of music that I typically hear in like small coffee shops or independent coffee shops. And so it's a trend. It's something that I see happening. And like I said, it's not necessarily something I would listen to regularly, but I think for me to not have heard this or to not get these albums would kind of be a disservice, because as a music lover and as a collector of music, and by the way, I'm feeling this because it's embossed. I think that's really interesting. This is all embossed as well. I've got to expand my horizons. I've got to learn, and not just through streaming. Like, I want to see what these albums feel like, how they're pressed, how they sound on a turntable. I want to know more than just the quick play in my car or something like that. So a lot of these albums I'll get and I'll listen to them and try and understand and see where people are coming from. And some of them really resonate with me, and like the ones that I listened to this time around, definitely something that I wouldn't mind showing others. And they all sounded like wonderful on the HiFi. They all sound great. So that was really neat. It just happened to not be what really makes me get excited. But on the other hand, I can see how other people get excited. So I think today's takeaway is, you know, a lot of times I'm showing you all albums that I really identify with and showing you my takes on music I'm excited about. But I want to be clear that, like, I will really get what you all recommend and take a listen to it and suss out like where it fits within the collection that I'm curating and I'm making. And it helps me and it informs me. It's not like a problem. These records to me are something that I love having, because then if somebody does come and they're like, hey, I'd like to hear X album, I'm like, yeah, I have that. And they're like, why would you have that? I'm like, because one thing about owning a HiFi store is that it can't just be about the music you love. It needs to be about music that's accessible to all different types of people from all different types of walks of life. And so having a breadth of albums really adds to the experience of coming and hearing HiFi. And it also adds to me intellectually, and as someone that's into music and is an amateur ethnomusicologist, right? So I thank y'all so much for checking this one out. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Give me some feedback. What do y'all think? What are some albums I should check out? I think you see now, I will really check your albums out. So thank you so much for your time, and I hope y'all have a wonderful day.